Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is December 23rd of 2022, and it's almost 3 p.m. It's actually 2:37 p.m. It's going to be a fast video, I think. We have our turkey in the oven. It'll be done in a few hours, so we're going to eat pretty good for the next 2 or 3 days on turkey and dressing and mashed potatoes and gravy, stuff like that. Um, uh, I'm thinking, you guys are going to give me hell for it. I'm thinking of getting a different cell phone. Well, I'll keep the one I have, but I mean not. Uh, I have the Motorola Stylus, the 2022 version, 19 or 1990. That shows the 2022 version or whatever. Uh, I like Stylus. And I think this may be not the 20. This may be the 21 version. I think the 22 version is you can put the stylus in. Doesn't have to go in a certain way. It can just go in any way. Um, I like the stylus, but I'm wanting a new cell phone. Well, doesn't have to be a new one really, but I want a new, because even though I am like Donald Trump and have very small hands, and I didn't realize that till a few years ago. A few years, for 30 years had to go and shoot at the police range, to qualify every year, and I had, a sizable handgun with. You'd have think that somebody would have said, for one of the different hospitals I worked at in that time, but one hospital we had 25 security officers. You'd think one of the officers would have said, "Jim, you have small hands. You should have a smaller grip." I used it when we had to use a revolver, 38, although it could be a 44 frame, but you could only use 38 ammo in it. I had a Smith and Wesson's outdoorsman. That was a beautiful, and had great grips on it too, by the way. That was a really good looking gun, and everybody was impressed when they saw it because that looked really big too. And 30 years hospital security and reserve police officer, and I was commissioned for I didn't have to really do anything. I was commissioned had a full Cass County Sheriff's Commission. Not just a reserve officer or when the sheriff called you to duty. I had, one that was, the sheriff didn't do that, and that county didn't do that very much. It was pretty rare to give somebody, full commission. Even his reserve officers and the members of the horse patrol and that type of stuff, they didn't have. But anyway, you would think that sometime somebody would have said, "Jim, you need a little girl's gun or something." I don't know. But how did I get on this subject? Somehow I got on this subject. Oh, cell phone. So, I mean, the small format cell phone, it's the kind I should probably have, but I want the extra. I want at least 6 inches on it, or maybe I could go with 6.5 or something like that, because I want the more space, for the stuff that's on the screen. I've got a Pixel that's over there on the charger. I did have the charger over here, but I want to have this book over here because I'm always having to look up something, that I wrote down, monitor size or something, and I need this right there, and it's the only place it can really go. Of course, it could go over here if I didn't have another computer, operating on right here. Um, anyway, so I'm really thinking about ordering a new cell phone. Okay, I want the 6 inches minimum. And, you know, they have 6.5, and I'm not sure how big they go. But I mean, I don't want a tablet. I have a tablet. I have a couple of tablets, you know. So, well, I have a laptop and a big tablet. Um, but I don't know. Oh, and the other thing, I've never had a cell phone. I don't think. Before cell phones, though, I had palm devices. Those were fun. And I was, you know, one of few. There was very few. I mean, everybody has a cell phone now. Back when I had my palm devices, as I went through those from one to another, you know, I'd be like working hospital security or whatever, and if I was in the dispatch or, you know, something like that, you know, the paramedics or the police would come in or something like that, and they'd ask for, what's the phone number for such and such, or, you know, in the hospital or something like that, and I'd pull that out and I'd say that, and then they'd say, what's that? Then I got to tell them, hey, it's a palm device. Oh, wow. Then they'd call their buddies over, hey, come over, you know, look at this. That was kind of fun. But I'm going to ask you, because recently, I mean, I've been, of course, we all have, going to YouTube and, you know, finding out stuff. And that type of thing. Well, also, some of you I've been talking about, I'm going to do this or do that, or I'm going to buy this or I'm going to buy that. And some of you, you know, have given me really good advice. And so I'm going to try the same thing here. Although I think most of you, if you're smart, you're going to say, Jim, you have 2 cell phones now. You don't like talking on the telephone at all. You do not need a new, you know, another cell phone. I'm thinking of the Google Pixel 2 XL. I'll show you a little bigger picture of that here in a minute. Now the Google Pixel 2 XL it's an old cell phone. It was, you know, great with its in the past, but they've come a long way. Now the Pixel 2 XL is, I think, 6, if I remember correctly. We'll see in just a minute. It's 6 inches, and something I'm sure I've never had a cell phone, and you've heard me, I'm sure, before when I've been outside when it's raining or storming or something with my Pixel, whatever it is, Pixel 4a, I believe. You've heard me say, I got to be careful. You know, my cell phone is not water, you know, resistant at all, and this Google Pixel 2 XL is IP67 water resistant. That's pretty good. You can actually put it, I wouldn't do that, but you can actually put it down in water for a little bit. Now, I use Google Fi, and I want to stick with Google Fi, and so that's a thing. So I want 6 inches or more. I want water resistant if I can get it. And now, and you saw when I've been having some trouble here, I've used my Google Pixel, and it's made just sitting on the desk or going outside and, you know, in the rain. And making videos outside. You've said, you know, when I was having trouble, some of you have been saying, just use your cell phone. It makes great pictures and great video and whatever. So, now here's one that interests me, OnePlus Nord. Now I haven't researched these totally. I see it's got a 90 kilohertz display, and it has a large, large battery. 5G is unlocked. Android smartphone. Has the cameras look good. I'm looking at the screen like you are, So that's one. $169, $169. It's using the Oxygen OS 11 and Android 11, by the way. 5G unlocked. Oh, it says right here. Okay. Google Fi, by the way. It says, T-Mobile and Google Fi. Let's see. 6.49 inches. That's good. Okay, so, well, that looks good to me. Except I'm gonna need to look on. Let's see, where are we? Here we go. Okay, here's the OnePlus Nord N20. 6.43 inches. Let's see, 5G enabled. I really don't care about 5G. Okay, this one says, of course, since it's Nord, it says Google Fi too. 6.43 inches. It's a little bit more, but with this, it's $229, but with this coupon, it's $197. Okay. Now here's the Moto G Stylus 22. Yeah, I'm not going to go. Yeah, I'm not going to. I do like the Stylus, but I'm not going to go with it. I have, a Stylus. It's just not, I think it's they made almost no changes in the last 2 or 3 years. Anyway, I'm going to delete this from up here. So forget about checking it out for me. Okay, here's the Google Pixel 6a. And really, I think that's too much to spend for me to spend when I've, when I really don't need. I have 2 cell phones, and one's a Pixel 4a. And I think I watched a bunch of videos that they're saying, Pixel or Google does fantastic with the the photography software, and which is true, But okay, here's the Pixel 2 XL, 64 gigabytes and 4 gigabytes. It's only 6 inches, but that's fine. IP67 water resistant. 12.2 megapixel 4K camera, Snapdragon 835. Okay, I think this would be also Google Fi, I think. 1440 by 2880 pixels. And the ratio size 18 by 9. How much is this, by the way, again? Let's see. $139. That's, Bluetooth, battery's not as big as some of them, 3520, that's okay. Talks about, shows the bands, let's see. May not have U.S. warranty. Unlocked for freedom to choose your carrier. The phone is unlocked to work with all GSM carriers and CDMA carriers, including AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and Sprint, etc. So if you are a anyway, this it has that look. And this was the first one I think that had it. The first one that has this. Now they continued it later on with their other, and people love this. Except I think people would, they'd see it and think it, hey, this is, better than it is, but it doesn't have a whole bunch of, lenses, cameras up there. But that's because, and this one also does, Google is using their fantastic photography software. And so you might let me know what you think. And there's only 20 of these left in stock. I just don't want to be, I don't want to be sitting here with another cell phone and thinking, why did I get that? Anyway, so what else did I want to tell you? Oh, I know what my next video is going to be. I'm not going to tell you. It's not all that special, but I'm going to do a little something and play with that. I try different stuff looking. I mean, I'm not looking to be a, big time YouTube person or making a bunch of money or something. I know I've been signed up with Google since they began, and I was doing streaming, and I was doing streaming before you've seen my thing. I think if you read it, it appears quite often on my thing. So, but I'm looking for a little something there again, not so I'm like the boy in, what is it, China, or is it Japan, who is the #1 YouTuber that he's barely out of diapers and he plays with toys, and he's the #1 YouTuber, I believe, is the most recent. Used to be, what's his name, in Sweden. I never watched any of his videos because he played games and then talked during the games. And I forget what the first, he just said things, and I can understand it in a way. You're sitting there and he's, I guess, playing for hours, and all these people are coming, one in there. So he's in playing, shooting, getting shot, or whatever they do when they play those kind of games. I never play those kind of games. I'm too slow. And, but I think he said something about Hitler. How Hitler wasn't such a bad guy. He they built the Volkswagen, under when he was, the Führer, and the highways. He built these fantastic highways. He did so he could move troops and stuff down, good highways, stuff. So anyway. So he said that, and he took a hit for that on the news worldwide. And I think that's how I found out that he was the #1 YouTuber. And then I think he said the N-word. And I could sort of understand, he was, I think, in a, somebody, and I think maybe somebody who was maybe black, and they're probably buddies, and they played these games, a whole bunch came in, whatever. And the guy, I think, killed, what's his name's name, or whatever, or a buddy of his or whatever, and whoever this guy was in Sweden, he said, I hate having to say the N word rather than say the word. And sometimes in these, you'll find some of my videos here where I just go ahead and say, you know, depending on the story, I say the N word. I don't say the N word. I say the spelled out word, which I know lost several people from because of that, because you're not supposed to say it under any circumstances, although they say it all the time, and they make music that plays all the time that, you know, they're saying it. So not that I think that, but I don't know. But anyway, so whoever the character was, so this is going on. So he's doing these, you know, doing this for hours and stuff, and then one of his people get killed, or he gets killed, or something like that, and then he apparently said the N word, like, "Hey, N word, you know, man, you know, you killed me that time, you did that, whatever," and boom. I think it was in Texas years back. I think that's one of the times that I mentioned the thing. There was a town in Texas, probably still is, or something that was, you know, had the N word, you know, like N Mountain or N Village or something like that, and people all of a sudden had been named that forever, you know. And I shouldn't have to say this, but even my dad was not prejudiced, you know. I mean, well, he was prejudiced because he was a, you know, older generation, but not, he didn't use the word, and he was in the Boilermakers Union for years, and then became a union official, and of course he had a boss, the business agent, and there was two, him and another guy who were the assistant business agents, and my father fought for the black members of to be able to work in the field. Before that, other business agents, everything had kept them they could work in, like where I worked, Darby Corporation or whatever, you know, inside, but not out in the field. Out in the field, you made a lot more money. And so when my dad said, no, they are union members, they are brothers, and he insisted, and so then he got them. And then when I just made a video not long ago about that apprenticeship program. The federal government had to change the laws so that you could have a union could have an apprenticeship program, because, you know, the laws prevented, it would be like discrimination. But if you're going to have an apprenticeship program, you have to have a young person, you know, who is in the union, who can go out on a job and you know, work because he's being trained as like a welder or blueprints or whatever, and that may be a position that is moved ahead of somebody who's been a union member for, you know, 20 years or 25 years or whatever. So anyway, Congress did pass that, and then the business agent, Local 83 of the Boilermakers in Kansas City, Missouri, the business agent at that time, no, we're not, you know, not going to have, I'm not sure what he said. Well, he probably said the N word, but not the N word, the whole, you know, I'm sure he did. And my father said, no, they are union members, they're brothers, you know, in the union, and they need, so my father got, you know, I'm sure he didn't get all of them, you know, all of the blacks that he wanted, but he got as many as he could, you know. He got lucky to get one, you know, and he got them in the apprenticeship program. So, and then when I started working hospital security, and I was, okay, let's see, I was working as a welder when I got married at age 26, and then I met a woman, unfortunately for me, Darlene, and we got married. And when I called her, my mother and father were alcoholics, and her mother and father owned a tavern, you know. So I guess what was happening is, now I was 26, and I think Darlene was 18 or something, maybe. But anyway, finally when I called her, I didn't call her for a while because I don't drink, you know. And but she doesn't drink either. But anyway, it's okay. So we got married. Then after about a year, well, she was setting up a tropical fish shop. And after about a year, I was working as a welder, union job, United Auto Workers Union, making good money. And then she said, you know, you need to come and run the, well, she ran the thing, you know, but you need to work at the, you know, in the fish shop or whatever. And I did. We had that for 4 years, and then we had a security patrol service for about a year or so. And then at that point, I got sidetracked. Where in the hell was I going? Oh, anyway, I forgot where I was going. Any of you watch the Darby Girls on Netflix? They're all, you know, all 3 or 4 seasons are there now. You know, that's the last of it. But there's, for the one girl, that's her uncle or whatever, and he rattles on. It's a running joke there. You know, he rattles on talking, you know. And I figure that's me. Okay, you might let me know if you have some ideas. I'm thinking of Google Pixel 2 XL. It looks good. It's water resistant. And, you know, it's larger in size. I just wish it had, although the photography, you know, because it's Google using their photography, their software. I just wish it had, not that I see anybody, not that I ever go any place, but I would like to have 4 or 5, you know, lenses on it. Anyway, let me know what you think. Oops, I ought to wave goodbye to you, I guess. Thank you for watching.